At first I thought this had to be a joke. Not Count Binface. We all know Count Binface is a joke. I mean the people saying they're actually going to vote for him. Just think about that for a moment. Nigel Farage has spent decades in politics. He's been a member of Parliament. He's served as a member of the European Parliament. He's led political parties. He's fought national election campaigns for years. Count Binface is a man dressed as a bin. So why would anyone deliberately vote for the bin? When I first saw the opinion polls, I really assumed that people were just having a laugh. But the more I thought about it, the less convinced of that I became. Because if thousands of people really are planning to vote for Count Binface, and they are, I don't think they're actually voting for Count Binface at all. The question I've got is, what are they voting for? Before I go any further, I want to make clear that this video is not about Nigel Farage, and it's not about reform. It's not a video supporting Count Binface. I'm interested in something else. Why do perfectly sensible adults sometimes choose to vote for somebody they know is not a conventional politician? Because this is not a new phenomenon. Britain has always had novelty candidates, right? But something feels different this time. For the first time, people are seriously discussing whether a comedy character could actually become a member of Parliament. How did we get here? Well, I've got a few theories. First possibility. Maybe people genuinely think he'd make the better MP. Some folk probably do believe that. But I don't think that explains how thousands of people have said they'll vote for him. So I kept looking, and I came up with possibility number 2. It's a protest vote, right? Maybe this is really about Nigel Farage. Maybe. But then, why have novelty candidates attracted votes long before Nigel Farage ever appeared? That can't be the whole explanation either. This could be one of those times when people don't vote for someone, they vote against someone. The ballot paper becomes less about choosing a representative and more about sending a message. Maybe they dislike one particular candidate. Maybe they dislike every mainstream party. Maybe they feel ignored. Maybe they think, if nobody represents me, I'll vote for the person who's taken the pish out of the whole system. Suddenly, Count Binface isn't really the candidate. He's the message. Maybe they're not protesting against Nigel Farage. Maybe they're protesting against politics itself. There's a third possibility that I've come up with, and that's humour. That could be even simpler. Like, voting for Count Binface might just be a laugh. It might be fun. Look, politics has become incredibly serious. Sometimes it's exhausting and it's often very depressing. Humour gives people a way to engage without taking everything quite so seriously. For some voters, casting their ballot for Count Binface might simply make them smile. It's certainly going to make me smile if he's voted in. A fourth possibility could be about the system. Maybe people feel that their individual vote won't change the overall result anyway. If they think the election is already going to go one way, why not use their vote to express frustration or humour instead? Not because they expect Count Binface to become Prime Minister. Although I don't think I'd have any objection to that happening. But anyway, because they want someone somewhere to notice that they're unhappy. Now, what does this say about us as people? This is where I started to think about things. And at first I thought, this story is about a man wearing a bin costume. Now I'm not so sure that that's what I'm thinking. Maybe this story is really about faith. Faith that politicians listen, faith that Parliament represents them, faith that one vote matters. When enough people become cynical, satire stops feeling ridiculous and it starts feeling logical. Now, is this good or bad? I really don't know. Some people say it's healthy. Democracy allows people to express themselves however they choose. Others might argue that it's deeply worrying, because if people lose faith in serious politics becomes harder to do. Now, I'm not here to try to tell you which view is correct. I know a view I like, but there is no correct answer here. I'm really interested in why people have reached the point that they have reached in the first place. When I first heard that people were planning to vote for Count Binface, I laughed. I assumed they were just taking the piss. Now I'm not so sure, because I don't think this story is really about Count Binface, or Nigel Farage, or this by-election. I think it's about what happens when enough people stop believing that conventional politics speaks for them. Because when that happens, the joke candidate sometimes stops being the joke.